know that R. Kelly married Aaliyah secretly when she was 15? And they forged
what's wrong
a
with
bunch of papers to make it look like she was 18? Fucking R. Kelly, man.
We're going to continue.
Anyways,
to talk
welcome
about
to Crucible Radio.
No.
It's the freaking weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun.
Do we let birds do that?
It's kind of weird.
Do we cut all the front end and just come in here where I said, do we let birds do that?
Guys, it was a non sequitur intro.
But you said, let's do an intro about this, and then you lied to us, and you did it about R. Kelly. A bait and switch of the worst variety.
Yo, you guys should all subscribe to my new Twitter.com account.
R. Kelly did nothing wrong.
R. Kelly facts. I'm actually running both accounts. Both R. Kelly is a monster and R. Kelly is actually fine.
Well, you got to capitalize on both sides of the argument. I get you.
We were originally talking about Spider-Man.
Okay. Well, we got a great interview coming up with the one and only T1Riot, who's on that Triumph grind. We talk about bows. It's great, but we got to get the Spider-Man thing out of our system. Let's just talk
let's go back to the beginning where I have been freaking out about this game since the day it came out, nonstop. If anyone listens to Gaming in Hell, they're very tired of me talking about it. And I said, Birds, I'll bring it to you on New Year's Eve. Since we'll be coming over, you'll get to play it. And
I believe I had made an extended speech earlier in the day about how hard it is to find a new game. And once I've kind of played a game type quite a bit, it's like, I'm good. I don't need to play any more racing games.
You were done with adventure games completely. You had no need for them.
I care about a platformer, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. So I made a speech and then
I was proven wrong, but one of the best games ever.
It's really good. It's just really like I believed you that
I was obsessed with it.
We're talking about Spider-Man.
We are.
Well, just like from the moment you pick it up, that it just swinging around, just even the basics feels really good. And I appreciate so much too how we didn't have to go through an origin story. We didn't have to lose and then reclaim our powers one by one as part of some extended tutorial. They just kind of kick you in. You can do a bunch of spider stuff, and it's like, start swinging, fight people, solve crimes and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is good. I'll play this for a bit. And then I got a taste of the grind. And it is everything. I'm no longer interested in games anymore, except they just did a very good version of all of those things.
We talked about on the other pod about how there's games where, you like the density of it, and it's beautiful, and this world is so detailed. And then you got some character that bumps into every single wall and tree stump, and to go start a mission, you have to go find the one dude sitting in the corner of a pub, and you have to walk up to him and start talking to him and bump into some waitress or something like that. Spider-Man, you just get within 100 yards of wherever you're going, and it'll just cut you right to the start of this nice little cutscene. I just love that the game makes things simple. You're never clunkily trying to stop swinging and then slowly walk 4 feet to initiate a mission or anything like that. You just get to swing.
Accidentally on a piece of geometry.
Yeah,
game
bump and
you
fall to the streets. Yeah, none of that. They make the game flow.
My favorite part is when they seamlessly tie in cutscenes to action. You're immediately fighting something.
Oh, yeah. They love to get you into a real mess and then drop you off and say, okay, here you go.
Well, and they'll do that. They'll drop you in the air, too. So if you don't just start swinging, you potentially fall down. It's not like they waste no time. But yeah.
Yeah. Literally just throw you out of a helicopter.
I have to be honest. I've been trying to think of how this would work. I really want to do a Destiny Spider-Man montage mashup.
Huh.
Nobody steal my idea.
Yeah, I think you're probably in the clear.
But I kind of want to do it. And it'd probably be heavier on the Destiny. It would be a new Destiny montage. Just somehow make it a Spidey themed. I think it'd be sick.
Have you been saving clips?
I have a lot. I actually have a different song Greedy and I have on deck for some stuff, but I've got some ideas for maybe a big one. I used to do so many in D1. So I'm thinking about putting out a nice little short one just because it's been a while, but maybe getting a big one. We'll see.
Big one.
Big old one.
Welcome to Crucible Radio, the podcast about Destiny PvP.
Oh, thanks, Spidey.
Almost all of the time.
Most of the time at this point in our Lord's year 2019, where we are on almost episode 190. Sorry.
I will openly admit, though, that the Black Armory, not exactly for me for some reason. And I've also paired it with probably weirdly some of the busiest time of my year. So
yeah,
playing Spider-Man has been a nice little break for me from Destiny for a little bit. I will be back into the grind probably as soon as I finish the DLCs. But yeah, you need that break. You can't always be on the grind.
Yeah, well, and I feel like they've done a good job of making of having not everything feel like, well, I just got to do my homework, right? Like there's lots of goals to chase. You don't need to get them all. There's lots of the end game is wider than it's ever been before. But you can still kind of get into that zone where you're like, well, I got to do this week. I got to make sure I check that off. And to find another game where it's just like, yeah, I'm just playing it because it's fun. Like, ooh, there's something over there. Let me go do whatever that is. It's a big part of what gaming's all about, right? There's a lot of reasons that we play and keep playing. But
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
you
shoot well.
At first, I was upset a little that it wasn't for me, or that like something just wasn't sitting right, or that the like grind was too much. But in reality, they just kind of created a really good version of content drop that I don't feel like I fell far behind on the game by taking a break.
Yeah, you're not hurting your progress.
Yeah, I'm not like missing out on a big, huge event every week. It's like, oh yeah, like I can come back in and really just kind of hit the ground running like I was before I took a break. So it's nice. It's nice to have Spidey comforting me in these times.
In these trying times.
I like how with the old Spider-Man that I
Listen
don't know. I
to
feel
this
like
guy.
A lot of adventure games, and I think this is one of the things I don't like, is that you sort of unlock new weapons and gear very slowly, right? So it's like you get something and it's like, here's the level where I'm supposed to learn how to use this thing. And it's the best thing now, and I'll keep using it. And eventually, right as I'm getting bored, they give me a new one. And with Spider-Man, I feel like all of a sudden it's like, I have got 10 gadgets and I've never considered using more than 2 of them.
I use every single one. Like I abuse them. Just like shoot them out. All of them, get them all out.
Yeah. Well, I learned to make that shift of like, what do I have right now? Ooh, trip mine? Okay, that'll be funny. Let's do one of those. I've got one of the heavy one and the other that electrocutes. This is it's the learning curve is apparent, right? The same thing with just like swinging around too, right? Like from the very beginning, okay, I haven't, it's not like I haven't unlocked a core movement ability yet. Yeah, there's little things that you get. It's just going to take me a little bit. I've got all the same tools I'm going to have, 10, 20 hours from now. But I'm going to be using them a lot better. So like, let's start figuring them out. I like that kind of learning curve where you have a lot more to start learning and be integrating into your play style at any point than you're kind of forcing the longevity of the game out by
they also don't bullshit you with like, now here's a mission where you got to use all 10 of these things that you've learned over the course of the game. Like if you want to beat the whole game using just the impact web because you love it, which I did, you can. And yeah, like you can be more efficient in some fights and some end game, or you're just going for the 100%. Like yeah, you start to figure out your loadout, so to speak, but they're not going to be like, now here's a tiny segment where you have to use all these things once to justify why we put it in the game. They're just like, hey, here's a new tool. If you like it, go for it. If not, keep doing what you're doing.
I'll say this is a somewhat unique game as well in that, console game, been a minute since I warmed up the old PS4. And I had it in my office, but I moved it out to the living room. It's on the TV. This is like one of the first games I've played in ages where Eugenie is just like happy to watch me play it. Just like, or like listen to me play it as she works on something else. Like it's got that good narrative quality to it. We both enjoy the same comical things that happen, although she does get quite agitated with me when I don't listen to my voicemails or podcasts in entirety. And it's fine. But it's
listen to the...
I got things to do. They're great. I'll get to them. I'll get to them.
They won't show up again. Listen to the J. Jonah podcast. It is a journey. Let me tell you that.
Can't you go listen back to old episodes?
No. They're synced up with what's happening. Never directly, but just like as you do something, you'll realize it only happened because you're at this point in the story. But it is worth listening to, and I would say literally worth the like $25 worth of DLC alone, just to like play some more Spider-Man and see what happens on that show, because it gets wild. I think it's amazing.
That it does.
Okay. I can admit my failings when I've made a mistake.
I think
occasionally
these people are tired of us talking about Spider-Man.
I'm smiling because Birds is all into it now, and I knew it.
Yeah,
I'm kind of.
But we should talk about Destiny.
I'm still kind of hoping that the fever will break in a day, and it'll be like, okay, I could take it or leave it. It's fine. I'll go back and play it again at some point, just so I told you so's, you guys. But I'm definitely going to go play it as soon as we finish up here, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, I've been getting back into Destiny now that I'm home from a short Christmas break, and then I had some more free time than usual over the holidays. Swain, same thing. Like, it was a kind of, I mean, I guess I played a lot, but I had a weird feeling. I had a weird approach to the power level this time. It felt like just more time between when I could once again use these loadouts I'd been so carefully crafting since Forsaken dropped. But now that my power light is at 650 on my main and I'm getting my alts up there a little more easily, done the raid a couple times, it's like, okay, cool, I can get back into the Crucible. But it's taken a little bit of adjusting. I think the big thing was realizing that I had been doing so much of these brutal forge quests by myself and trying to get my power level up, that I had neglected comp. So I went and got my mountaintop.
Hey,
how do you like it?
It's fun. I need to put more time with it. Again, it's right back into where it's like, well, now we're going to go raid. Can't use it. But it is fun. I actually used it in a Gambit match, sort of thinking I'd be throwing a little bit, not really helping. And then I got like a couple ridiculous kills on invaders, like one shots from very far away, and was like, ooh, okay. It's very cool. It's definitely not the meta that Luna's Not Forgotten has certainly become, at least on PC. But it's fun. It's a cool, fun game. It stands out as like a, wow, this one works differently. It does remind me of that Claymore feeling. So it's a cool reward, and I think very achievable. I think, that's not too far. 2100 is not too far. And most of the games we played felt close but fun, and I was playing pretty well, and we did pretty well. I didn't have a hard time. So I think it's very achievable. And I've been telling a lot of people who think, they just tell me, I wish I could get that. That'd be great. Or maybe I'll do it next season when I don't suck or whatever. And I'm like, no, just go for it. Like, you can totally get to that rank. It's very achievable, but still a good feeling of accomplishment.
All right. Well, with no further ado, stay tuned for this interview. It's a good one. We got to stay in it. Circle back. Folks, this week we've got music coming from Schaefer Llana, friend of the show, and so happy to play her. go check her out. It's schaeferllana.bandcamp.com. And for any of our artists, if you'd like to hear their music, we've always got a link to them in the show notes. So go enjoy it. If you're a musician and you'd like to hear your music played on Crucible Radio, we want to hear it. Let's make this happen. Send us an email, crucibleradio@gmail.com. Welcome back to the show, folks. So glad you're here, and I'm so glad our guest is here. You've heard him on the show before. You might have known him in high school as Mr. Lollipops.
This is true.
That's true. That's true.
That's
You wrote that
100%
down
canon.
and emailed that to me in your writer. His friends called him Dr. Pony Lollipops, but we call him Mr. T1Riot. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. Completely accurate as well. It was definitely Mr. Pony Lollipops.
Good.
Nothing else.
Good. Just
slander if
you
they
keep
say
on
otherwise.
corroborating. We're going to be just fine.
Perfect.
That's his
I guess,
ASMR alter ego.
Yeah. On I guess third appearance, we really get weird and we just harass them the whole time. So this should be fun.
Excellent.
Look what we
Answer
put,
for your lies. Wait, no.
what we
that's
put
next time.
Fallout through,
That's
and
next
he's
time.
been on 6 times. You can only imagine.
Yep. You actually loop around after 3. It's fun stuff. Anyways, man, thank you for coming back on the show.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
How was your New Year? You have a good New Year?
I did, yeah. Yeah, just playing Destiny, hanging out with the fiance, other video games. It was pretty
Beyonce?
relaxed. Fiance.
Oh,
No, unfortunately, I want to say Beyonce is the other side of the, at least the country at the moment. Pretty sure she's East Coast. Yeah, I'm just stuck out here in Portland, so.
Portland, home of Mr. Lollipop. Well, that sounds good. Yeah, well, so hey, we're all playing some Destiny, right? And we're kind of in that point in the season where, you know, a lot of the low-hanging fruit's been picked. We've kind of seen all the easy stuff there is to see, and now we settle in for the grind and we figure out what we're gonna do.
especially with the way that they decide it's not DLCs anymore. It's more one by one. Eat your stuff week by week.
Drip.
Yep. I've liked that too, though. It's actually been nice, not just having everything there, because I'm very much so a completionist, so not having, quite literally hundreds of hours put in front of me to get. Right. Closing in on 1,000 triumphs completed. Just maybe. And so it's been.
Let's dive into that a little bit.
Let's do it.
How many triumphs?
I think the last count was I'm at like 986 or something. I think is what I ended at last night. It was a little bit under 1,100 in the
That is a lot of triumphs.
So is this like, as far as triumphs go, are you focusing on them as like you said, a completionist thing? Or does it give you something when you sit down every time to play that's like, I am like laser focused on this one thing, or these maybe 2 things, or it's like an event, you're doing them all at once?
Honestly, I think it's mainly a long-term goal, because when I play a game, I have something in mind for why I'm playing it, be it just relaxation or taking my mind off of something, or
Sure.
that sense of accomplishment for beating the game. And Destiny doesn't have like that like true finish. Like you get through a Legend of Zelda game and you complete it and it's like, well, it's done. Right? Like you beat the campaign of Destiny and there's so much else out there. Like there's the whole end game beyond just beating Gaul in the Red War campaign. There was obviously more to do beyond simply that. There was more to do after you defeated Zol for the first time for Warmind. Completing the raid Scourge of the Past. Like there's always something else to do. And they're not, I wouldn't necessarily call them like requirements to beat it, but I want to try to catch them all. That's my goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, and I think there's more to it than just like the completionist side of things. I mean, you definitely experience parts of the game that you might not have otherwise explored, but you also get a lot of practice maybe using loadouts or, kind of developing specific techniques you need to do a certain number of times that do have an effect on your gameplay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Are you finding that anything that has... Is there been any triumphs that have pushed you into a playstyle that are like permanently affected you, that you're like, oh crap, I need to use this forever now?
Oh, okay. I was going to go on the permanent tilt from Iron Banner triumphs. Okay.
I watched a little bit of that stream.
Yeah, there was.
We don't need to go there.
So there's one triumph that's tied to the Gofanon Forge on Nessus. It's getting 500 kills with, I want to say the truly official way to pronounce it is the Lemon Arch.
Mm-hmm.
With Lemon Arch.
Lemon Arch.
Sorry, that was awful.
Lemon Arch. Lemon.
Yeah. Lemon Arch.
I don't even know what to start Googling. Pardon?
So
it's the new exotic bow
that only drops from the powerful frames done each week. So you get 6 chances a week if you have 3 characters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would have not figured that out. Lemon Arch or Lemon Arch. Sorry.
Yeah. Official pronunciation. But so the specific triumph is 500 kills with the bow in the Gofanon Forge, which was the first forge on Nessus, the one right off of Artifact's Edge. And it's really actually just doing that triumph has helped so much with getting the timing down on activating the poison arrows effect. I can't remember what the actual perk name is.
So it's like the perfect draw, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's when you fire that bow in the perfect draw, you get like Thornburn. So in PvP, you can deal not exactly lethal on one hit headshot, but they get ticked pretty damn low. I think it's 8 ticks of 3 damage in PvP. And it can proc off body shot, so it's a body shot for 150 with the poison included, 180 something on the headshot with poison.
I'm picturing a meme of the dog with the Vietnam behind it, but it's just Thorn.
The flashback, yep.
Thorn, but the whole screen is green.
Mm-hmm. Well, and fun stuff about that bow too is it actually does mess with your screen when you get poisoned by it. I had to learn that the hard way in PvP.
Oh, we're back. Come full circle.
Yep.
Well, so I believe it was Keen who posted a link to Titans when you're on a Code of the Missile and you activate inertia override by sliding over your ammo.
Mm-hmm.
The weapon damage boost for that is actually enough with Lemon Arch to push that headshot into one hit kill territory with the damage over time ticks. I just heard that. I don't have this wonderful bow. Has that been your experience?
So I haven't, unfortunately, yet gone to combo those two together. When I've been using it in PvP, at least I was on Hunter for the Oathkeeper exotic. The exotic that everyone said was going to be awful and had no purpose. And then, hey, what do you know? It's the best thing in the game for specifically this bow. Crazy.
So, I mean, now that you've kind of settled into a bow playstyle in PvP, which is interesting because, we got Forsaken. We were all real hot on these bows. They're super cool. And then they kind of fell off. And, you're starting to see them pop back up again. There's definitely a space for them. I mean, once you kind of committed to figuring this out, what would you say the bow play style looks like for you?
You're not rushing. It's not like a shotgun where you can hold forward the entire game with it. The bow is more reactive rather than proactive. So I'm holding corners. I'm open to being in the open if I have a tie-in barricade kind of thing, because even just peeking behind that's pretty massive damage there. Even just the weakest of the bows deal around 140 to 150 on a headshot. When, at least on PC, when it feels like half the population's rocking Ace of Spades on your team anyways, just solo queuing and quick play. My bow headshot, their Ace of Spades body shot, opponent's dead.
Yeah, that'll do it. Well, so I was going to ask, I mean, do you find that with a bow play style that you have to, you have to work with your teammates more? Is it something that's viable in solo queue?
I do think it is viable. It's, if you want to really succeed with it and not just simply get a lot of damage dealt over the game because, hit them in the head with a bow and usually the opponent dips back. So it's 0.7 seconds I want to say for the charge time. So you get that actual hit scan shot rather than the kind of weak hip fire effect of it. Trying to think of what that'd be called, where
You sort of like
projectile.
lob the arrow.
Right,
at him.
yeah. Travel time.
Underhand it.
Exactly.
It's more of a lawn dart at that point.
Just, get out of here. Yeah, it's definitely at its most effective comboed with teammates. And when you're solo queuing, you're obviously not using comms. No voice communication, at least. Every now and then I'll see people type in quick play chat about where to go, at least for control. They're not yelling at each other.
This is true. Well, so you mentioned using this on your hunter, and that gunslinger still pretty good. But have you found that there's a particular synergy with any subclass with a bow?
I hate saying it, but Spectral Blades.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, right?
It does,
you get
exactly. Get the perfect
those
shot.
precision kills.
What's the? I can't remember the perk. True Sight. Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Precision kill while crouched. Get 10 seconds of wall hacks.
It is very hard. I've only been playing it a little bit. It is very hard to crouch and actually remember to do that. And it's only, it almost like I do it so rarely that when I go invisible, it scares me and I forget that that's the perk. And I'm like, oh yeah.
It's a weird sound effect if you're not expecting it. Yeah.
Yeah. And suddenly your screen's all weird. Like, what happened?
Am I dead?
Is this hell?
Yeah, it's a good combo. And as far as that, it's gotten a pinky workout in because I've got on mouse and keyboard at least control CTRL. That's my crouch button.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit about that. I know you switch recently.
I would say 2.5 months now.
That's recently enough.
Were you starting from scratch with mouse and keyboard, or had you used it in other games?
Not exactly from scratch. So for the first, I would say the first year of Destiny 2 on PC, probably the first 6 months, I was like 2 days console, 1 day PC, and then back and forth kind of thing. And then once it was pretty much strictly on PC, I was trying to do my player versus environment stuff with mouse and keyboard. So at least I would know like the general positioning of my hands and whatnot.
Get that
where,
practice.
What button's there? What does that? Oh, hey, look, I'm rolling 1 and 2 again. So I'm like not actually swapping my weapon, even though the animation's occurring. Just get that practice in, even in PvE. Just it's a little bit more relaxed. You know, it's AI. They're programmed. You kind of have an idea of what the drag is going to do, what the captain's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But player versus player, well, you can guess what a person's going to do. Like, what's the best play they can make? You never know because it's another person actually controlling that character. And they're also, generally speaking, in Crucible, a little bit less forgiving than, say, the drag and the EDZ.
Sure. Well, so have you committed to mouse and keyboard in PvP?
Mm-hmm. Full time now.
How's it going?
I can shotgun a little bit better, at least. That's nice. Hunters don't immediately terrify me at close range because I can look up in time, just snap the mouse up rather than being stuck on controller sensitivity. That was probably the hardest change there, was realizing that I can make different plays and getting out of like the controller mindset.
It is odd, right? Like, it's not so much that you're learning how to control your character. It's like, oh, I can do these things.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
I have the ability to 180. It's not that it's not that my hand is struggling to do it. It's that your brain has to sort of adjust to that speed and that motion. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Because I think the example that's so great for this is, what was it? It was the very first Trials map. It's not Equinox, but it's the other one in the
Eternity.
Eternity, that's it.
Yeah.
So let's say you're above the power brick spawn on Temple, I believe the lower side is. It has like the beach balls, the drop off on the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like the golden funhouse rampy thing in the background behind you. And so you're challenging that doorway and you're in the open and like 2 people across the area poke out with scout rifles. If you're on a controller, the best bet of surviving is simply jumping up to the right or to the left to like get out of the way. Because you can't make that turn and then turn and slide out. But on mouse and keyboard, you're able to. Just an immediate movement. And it's been really nice having that additional play open up to me. Something that used to not be there.
It is wild, and especially watching, players who are just naturally gifted at that sort of control and stuff. I remember seeing Crafty back at the beginning just hit a snipe while still moving
Yep.
the opposite direction, like he was still in his slide.
180. You can see like the particle trail behind him as he hit the headshot.
Yeah. I think that's honestly, and it didn't happen for me for a while, but I think that's what it just stuck in my mind is like, I should probably learn how to do that at some point. It's crazy.
It's a possible play.
I think we need a name for like that kind of, it's sort of like the drive-by, right? Like when you're moving in one direction and then you just get, I mean, it could be on a lot of things, right? It could be, mid slide with a shotgun. It could be running back to cover, but getting off a shot before you shade step or whatever. But that idea of moving in one direction, but specifically turning and aiming 90
the
degrees
other way,
and,
right?
Yeah. And committing to it, right? Really committing to that movement. You can, it's not limited to mouse and keyboard. You can do that kind of thing if you focus on controller, but not to the same degree.
Yeah, you definitely need something like knee pads effects, stompies, transversal steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Antea swords, I think, increase your slide distance for Titan. I want to say.
Yeah, just anything to kind of give you that time to keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's like I can I use a controller and I use just in PvP and also in PvE, but I use a controller and I think but not in the other one, and I think that for me is like the biggest piece of clip envy that I get because there are a lot of great players with controllers. You can make plays with controller, but when I see people post clips where it's like, just the movement of that flick was so smooth and so precise. You just don't quite have access to that on controller in the same way.
Yeah, it's a shame. I get the limitation.
I'll be okay. Okay, so I did have a question. Going back to that PvP bow life. If you are rocking a bow in PvP, what are you going to pair it with? What's the other half?
So I've been doing a lot of energy bows specifically, just because it's Le Monarch, Subtle Calamity. There is in the Arc, Arsenic Bite, one of those two. Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, I have been gone with Ace of Spades. It's really good. It's a strong weapon. It's good for cleanups.
You don't say.
Interesting.
Right? Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Who knew? Well, so that's interesting because I guess conceptually I was thinking of a bow as kind of a primary, right? Like it's a slow primary, it's a ranged primary, but you're not going to get that one-hit kill unless you're doing something funky. And so in that regard, thinking of it as a primary and I'm going to need a shotgun to pair it with or something like that. But it seems like you're kind of using it as a special weapon, right?
Exactly. It's my lower zoom, less damage sniper rifle. Mm-hmm. That's the way I use it.
And so then Ace of Spades is for cleanups.
Exactly. You're just good hit registration, good range. The bonus damage from Memento Mori, especially after the relatively recent update to the game where it allowed you to have Memento Mori shots, get the kill and reload and refill your Memento Mori. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty beneficial.
Hey, do you guys remember in D1 when they started calling it Blint? Do we still say that? It's
kind of fallen off, only especially since sniping isn't super meta. But yeah,
I saw True Vanguard bring it up the other day because he's been using a bow and been calling it. People have been
glinting.
Giving him shit for it, and it's like, no, it's been around forever.
It's been a thing,
and it's not a bad thing. But you're not insulting me by saying it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do see that term a little bit in Twitch chats every now and then.
Well, so for those who aren't familiar, the Blint is when you get that. I mean, typically with a sniper rifle, you get a body shot, so you don't get the kill. And instead of taking a second shot, you switch to your other weapon and clean them up. Mm-hmm. I suppose with a bow, you could still get the headshot and need to do that. Would you say that's kind of your core play style is get that first shot with the bow, switch to your other weapon to clean up and repeat?
I think it depends on how close the opponent is to cover. If I don't think I have a second to fire the second bow shot, or if they're gunning me down with a machine gun or something like that, that's going to flinch me off. I'd rather just have like the one-shot ace potentially there. I've got a pretty good Duke roll as well. Quick draw, ricochet rounds, rampage on it.
So that's, I guess I was wondering, I mean, are you trying to optimize for quick handling to get that weapon change?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm on a Warlock, Athenian aspects or the quick draw effect of it.
Yep.
Pretty handy.
So, okay, so that's interesting. So on Hunter, you're using Oathkeeper for
right. Always have the poison with
reasons.
Monarch. Yep.
For Warlock, Ophidian aspects to get that quick draw for the blint, as we say. On Titan, what armor exotic are you going to pair it with?
One-Eyed Mask.
Well,
Let's be real here.
You already know who it is.
Yeah. All right, because it's good.
Whoa.
But, surprise. No, I can't think of an exotic on Titan that increases your weapon handling necessarily. And at the moment, at least, One-Eyed Mask it does so much. The wall hacks, the bonus damage, immediate health regeneration, an overshield that comes up that lets you survive a chaperone headshot.
It's really quite good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. Got me through some fights.
I can imagine. Yeah. All right. Well, so embracing the bow, and this is okay. So let me ask, right? Like in quick play, I will pull a bow out, no problem. It is real fun. It is great when there's, your team is just getting that team shot, and you can just kind of peek and clean up all those extra kills for them. Do you think it can hang in a competitive context, or is it kind of a fun loadout?
That is a good question. I don't know about like at the highest tier of competition necessarily, but I don't think having like in the regular competitive 4v4 playlist, I don't think it's a bad thing to have one teammate on a bow.
Yep.
Necessarily. Like if you're not comfortable having a sniper, a bow is albeit weaker, but a safer pick for that.
Yeah,
That has like a relatively same effect.
It's consistent damage if you can get a shot or two. I mean, landing 3 headshots in a round of survival is already more than the sniper ammo you start with. And it can mean a lot if your team is synced up and getting team shots.
Mm-hmm. Especially for a bow like the Le Monarch, where it's not even so much where you get the perfect draw shot off, hits poisons a target, but it's actually like an area of effect explosion. So if there's multiple people there, you can burn multiple people.
Right, yeah.
So not only are you weakening them over time, so they're not regenerating their HP. If they do end up backing off, you get those damage ticks on your screen. You get to see exactly where they are. It's wall hacks in and of itself. It's a strong ability.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're up against a bow, and you could rephrase this question as, when you're using a bow, what is it really annoying when the enemy team does? Like, what's the counterplay against a good bow player?
From my personal experience with it, is the people who they really do just hold forward against you.
Yeah.
Their primary out, and then like 15 meters out, let's say, shotgun comes out.
Yeah, no, that turns out a very effective play style. No, that I think that holds true. Have you ever? Another question: have you ever played in the comp playlist with multiple players with a bow? Is that pure gimmick?
So never like, legend rank or mythic rank or anything like that. I think it was early Forsaken, so season 4, when the bows first came out. We were like with a tier 1 squad. It was myself, Giggs, Vendetta. I want to say Lunar. We were just running around with 4 bows on our team, just team shotting with bows. But it was more for the meme at the time.
There's also
it was working.
An element of surprise,
right? Exactly,
just something like that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. People just don't expect that either. And when it's a brand new weapon and it's just, oh, well, I'm full shields and now I'm at a quarter HP and now I'm dead. Even just on bow body shot. Because they do have a surprising amount of, I want to call it bullet magnetism, arrow magnetism to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty easy to miss, but at the same time, they register pretty well when you're on target.
Yep.
Well, I mean, and if you, out. But sorry.
Well, so I mean, along those lines, do you think a bow targeting or, precision targeting perk is necessary or nice to have? Have you noticed a difference with that on your armor?
I don't think I've actually ever run anything bow related with my loadouts. Nothing on the helmet for sure.
You don't have that bow reload perk for it?
Nope. No,
Pop that arrow back in there a little quicker.
No, actually, no. It's really fast. It's surprising how fast a bow reloads. It's pretty much instantaneous.
There's only a couple that seem to stand out. I just got what's the electric one? The other exotic.
Bite. Oh no! Trinity Cool.
Yeah. It took me so long to get it, and I was like, "Yay!" And then it's like, man, it is a long time between two shots when you actually get that perk up. And it's like, okay, so it's kind of fun in PvE, but man, I feel like I'm just like my arms are weak all of a sudden and I can't pull it back. And we had Lupo on talking about I remember the raid one, and it was kind of hype because it was dropping for masterwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they had the dragonfly, like that's cool. But again, that slow draw speed or the reload actually gets you. It's like only those two where I've ever heard it's a problem. But yeah, that Trinity Ghoul, I was like, man, I need to get some tricep workouts here on my Warlock because I'm taking forever to pull this thing back.
Right. Yeah. And that one, I'm not even sure if there's a way to speed that up. Since it being an exotic, you can't get the draw time masterwork on it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This is a little off topic for our show, but we've been talking a lot about bows and we've got upcoming changes. Do you think could you imagine a change for them at all? Maybe how they function or a shift in the meta when we've got a whole year of Destiny ahead of us? Like how could you see the bows fitting in maybe 6 months from now when people have had more time to get the hang of it?
I mean, perhaps reducing the draw time ever so slightly. I'm not talking even like a major change, 0.1, 0.2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then truthfully, I like the damage on them. I like the registration. They carry a ton of ammo. The hit reg is good. So I think it would really just be changes to the other weapons that kind of dominate in that long range or heavy hitting, slow firing category.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you'd have to have a shift of less up close fighting overall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's interesting to balance the bow because there is no magazine or clip. I don't know what it's called, whatever.
Yeah, I'm not even sure. It's like, do you fletch
quiver?
The quiver. Yeah.
Quiver. Like, there's no that, with a hand cannon, you have one time of you cannot shoot because you're reloading for however long, and then you can shoot as much as you want. Whereas bows, that time has to be between each individual shot.
Right.
But yeah, I agree with you. It feels like maybe speed that up a bit. But yeah, just curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speed that up. Reduce shotgun range by a meter or two. It's pretty.
Whoa! Don't go nerfing my shotguns. Whoa!
Slow down right now.
If I may, I want to say it was like year one Legend of Acreus had the one hit range out to, I think it was like exactly 8 meters.
That's all it was?
I'm pretty sure it was 8 meters.
Yeah.
Maybe 8.5. That was it. And that was considered just super duper overpowered.
Absurd, yeah.
Needed nerfed.
That gun was enough for me to go like, all right, let's do this stupid strike and raid for the third time this week or something. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, farm all those. What were they? The Emperor Seals.
Seals, yeah.
Oh.
So we kind of touched on it there, but this is the new year. Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to into Destiny? Whether it's like upcoming, in quotes, DLC or like content drops or, something bigger down the line, something you're hopeful for.
Right. Well, I'm curious to see what exactly is coming about with the Xur bounties. Like I'm holding out hope that would allow for exotic rerolls in terms of the armor roll specifically.
That's a good one.
Wouldn't be opposed to that. And then of course,
you're waiting
January.
for that jacket too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. No email just yet. Yeah, actually no, that was the different thing. That's right. Yeah, I mean, I've got the raid jacket coming in from Scourge of the Past. Waiting on an email for the raid belt. Ooh. Next raid is, I want to say, in June, in the 3rd season of the year. Or no, 4th season, technically, if you consider Forsaken Season 1.
This guy. with the belt.
Unrelated question. How many belts and jackets can one person wear at the same time?
It's going to be a YouTube challenge video there. How many layers?
I've seen
Good problem to
some
have.
WWE that had multiple belts, or
Mhm.
boxers. You can just hang them off on a diagonal once you have enough. So I believe
Okay,
in
there
it,
you go.
right?
Yeah, there we go. That'll be perfect. Because I had the idea. I know they're selling like a raid jacket per new raid, right? Like there was a Last Wish raid jacket. There was the Scourge of the Past raid jacket. I'm assuming they'll do the same with whatever season of the Blanks raid is.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea brought up to me was that they have like one raid jacket, and rather than selling an entire new one, they would sell like badges or pins that you could put onto it or sew on, kind of thing.
I'm content with my dredging pin when it comes.
Okay, so that has not shipped yet because I still need to order that. I definitely plan on picking up all the seal pins if and when I get them.
You put them on the jacket. There you go.
Yep, exactly. A little
Is
flare
it a
now.
pin? I thought it was just like a little collectible.
It's a pin.
Is
It
it?
is a pin itself.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Right, maybe I'll get one.
Speaking of titles, I saw you were rocking the Cursebreaker title. How
Mhm.
many of those have you collected by now?
I have 3 so far. Cursebreaker, Dredge, and Wayfarer. I just need to hit Legend in competitive this season for Unbroken. And if and when 1,000 Voices essentially spawns in for me.
Oh
I'm
no, Riot.
I have not rated this week, though, technically. So who knows? I'm only 0 for 49 so far. That's it.
Oh, I got a good feeling. This is it,
This could be
2019,
it,
man.
exactly.
This is
New
it.
year, new me. New
Yeah.
chest.
New chances at RNG.
Yeah.
So out of all of those, I mean, I guess sort of compare and contrast a little bit, to kind of commit to that journey. I mean, you're focusing on an aspect of the game, but there are other challenges to consider. Maybe some of them push you outside your comfort zone. You lose some new stuff. Maybe some others are just a little repetitive. What was your kind of impression of each one?
As far as obtaining each seal. So I really like the concept of the seals. And I think that the community has kind of hit on the no RNG involved with them. And I have to commend them for how they brought about the blacksmith title. It really doesn't seem RNG focused whatsoever. Anything is grindable out. Like you may need the Rasmussen clan shader, for instance, or the Sato tribe. But you can just continuously do the weapon frame until you get that shader. It's not like you're locked out of Ribbon's Bane because you don't have 1,000 Voices or the Sparrow. Or, the Cursebreaker title with the Palace Galley at the ship. That only drops from the Shattered Throne dungeon once every 3 weeks, kind of thing. Oh, man. I mean, Gambit meatball hunting took a while. I know Swain probably has a story or two on that one as well. The flashbacks. There's the Vietnam dog coming back.
Yeah, there it is. That was
that?
swaying for a whole week. It was bad.
Just replace Thorn with bad teammates.
Oh, that playlist. Still love Gambit, though.
What about Gambit? Like, we have a content drop coming for Gambit soon
Season
enough.
of the Drifter.
It would be a perfect time to expand on the play mode in some way. Is there anything that you think you would love to see?
I mean, I know it won't happen, but just like a hard ban on any linear fusion. It's like my number one thing. I don't know what it is. I don't mind if I get killed by a Thunderlord or a tracking rocket launcher or what have you. A Darcy across the map. Just, it's okay. But if I hear a linear charge up or shoot past me, or God forbid they somehow only hit a body shot with a Queen Breaker's bow, and it like blinds my screen for the second, I'm livid. I don't know how
want
to
to
react.
see Sparrow worthy maps where I have to like use a Sparrow to get back to the.
Can I
to
change
do
my
a
answer to
jump
that,
across.
I want Sparrows now. That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
'Cause I
you can
know-
get a tank to kind of avoid the linear fusion stuff.
There you go, right?
Boom.
As long as
Look,
I have enough
people
shields
Hire
just
me,
like
Bungie.
to
those.
get my Drake tanks.
People
Boom.
People didn't like those giant Crucible maps from D1, but no one disliked the fact that you could ride Sparrows on them. That was
Mhm.
funny and a great
Exactly.
time. So, yeah, I think we need Sparrows in more competitive arenas. And I don't mean SRL, but let me drive a Sparrow anywhere in the game, Bungie. That's all I want. on Endless Vale. Let me just sparrow around in a circle.
I'm headed to B.
What was the medal for that? Like, never speak of this again or something?
Yeah.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
one of those.
That was a classic. Needs to
That
come
would be
back.
a triumph to grind for. Perfect. Yeah, no, and hey, in March, I'm pretty sure we're getting the new Gambit experience, so that might be a thing. I would not mind some vehicle combat. Love big team battle in Halo.
Oh, good times. Well, we know about some upcoming patches. We were, loosely described some of their ideas from Mr. Hamrick in a TWAB from December. Anything you're really looking forward to, or at least extremely curious to see how it plays out and how the meta shakes up starting the new year?
So speaking from a PC perspective specifically, because I do know that the meta is different on console versus on PC. I'm quite curious to see if we are going to leave the hand cannon pulse rifle meta, which is really the two primary weapon types that at least I experience when I'm playing. And then if we're going to see other, I guess, special ammo types, not necessarily like a new weapon archetype, but what I'm getting at is less shotguns specifically.
Right.
Sure.
See more fusion rifles in play beyond just Telesto, see more sniper rifles, though even then it's really like Tatara Gaze, the Forge sniper. This is the one that I primarily see in play. You can get some good rolls on it. I like mine.
Is it kill clip?
Quick draw Dragonfly.
Oh, okay.
And Masterwork.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
so
fun.
it's strong, but it's not the oops, I win once I got one kill kind of thing. Not completely there yet.
Right.
So hey, the sniper is currently available, so I just have to go get my kill clip one now.
I kind of wonder what it would take to sort of unseat hand cannons and pulse rifles. Because, scouts are scouts, right? They can just keep buffing that damage on them. But for something like an auto rifle or SMGs, sort of the continuous shooting tracking skill type thing, I kind of wonder if there's a place they can get them to where they're consistent enough, where they're putting out enough damage that it's worth it to stay exposed. And
right, exactly, because you can't just peek the corner over and over with a hand cannon, or with
exactly
AR,
right,
like you could with a hand cannon. I almost want to say you have to drop the kill time on them, because they do have comparable kill time to hand cannons, but you miss like even one shot with your AR, 2 bullets out. You're no longer flinching your opponent; they're still potentially flinching you, and your kill time's going down, or technically it's going up, right? Longer time it takes.
Yep. Well, and just with where sort of like, typical peak time to kill is right now, I have to wonder just how much they would have to goose those up in order to, not a bad thing, but we're playing a different game at that point.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a tough balance. And as far as SMGs, I want to say going into Forsaken is when they made the adjustment to them, because they definitely used to deal less headshot damage. They were more, the critical value versus body shot value was nearly identical. When you think of like the Achilles SMG, it was like a 17 headshot, 16 body shot. Whereas now I want to say the body is 15 or 14, the headshot's like 21.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that sort of changes the play style form, right? Like when it was a period when everyone was rocking an SMG at the sort of the end of double primaries, not everybody, but
right, but yeah,
you know what I mean? And you had, it was a very strong in-air weapon. You could get above people, close real quick, and as long as your tracking was on point, you could put out a lot of damage with them. When you change it to a weapon that's more about getting that precision headshot, yeah, sure, you can do that in the air. But the name, it's a short range auto rifle at that point,
exactly.
right?
It's a spray weapon. They shoot 750 bullets per second, or minute, excuse me, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait, well, hold on. 750 bullets.
Yeah, it can't be per second.
Carry the one. I'm intrigued at this idea of 750 bullets per second.
That's an exotic coming up.
somewhat strong perk. Yes, they have the ability to counter shotguns. Like, they have a really fast kill time if you hit your precision shots, but you're getting rushed down, you're at close quarters as is, and you're potentially getting flinched off by a shotgun hitting you from like 10 meters out. You know, it's not going to kill you, but you're still getting flinched because you got hit by a shotgun, which means it's even more unlikely that you're hitting your next shots as you adjust to that flinch aspect of it. Because I don't think SMGs really have that much recoil, even on controller close range. It's been a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's manageable enough. Yeah, assuming you're not getting shotgunned because you got too close.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I would love to see them have a bit more body shot damage. If I don't think I'd even be opposed to them keeping the headshot damage at the same amount, because there's just, I want other options to shut down shotgun rushes. Like, too often that it's like, oh well, if I had a shotty here, this would be so much better than the sidearm I have on right now, or the SMG.
I gotta ask. I mean, and this is great. I can ask you about all the obscure stuff because you've probably done a triumph for it at some point.
That's a good chance. Yeah.
What do you think is up with sidearms? And we almost have to kind of distinguish between your burst fire sidearms versus your semi-auto sidearms, because they're
right. And then there's the aggressive 2 bursts versus 3 versus single fires.
Yep. I mean, they just feel almost like different weapons. I mean, do you think there's a space for them? Is there? Have you had any luck with them as a weapon type?
Right now, 2 bursts maybe in player versus environment. But even then, it's kind of hard to say no to like the threat level kinetic shotgun that has trench barrels. It's kinetic version of like the Achilles Shotty versus your Kindled Orchid hand cannon that can run like surrounded rampage. Kind of thing.
Well, you mean your Kindle Orchid.
Right, that's true. That's
surrounded rampage.
I'll admit I got pretty damn lucky that week. 5 hand cannons, the surrounded rampage, the kill clip, outlaw, and then the rampage kill clip one. It was a little bit lucky.
Yeah, well, I got triple tap, so
screw
you.
2 more shots to get off, and then you can be business. You better watch out.
Yeah, no, I don't really know what they would necessarily have to do to them, because when I think of sidearms, I always get the flashbacks to like the season 1 Last Hope. It was like displaying at 415 something shots. It was supposed to fire at 491. It was firing at like 500 something. And that was a really good sidearm back then.
Yeah, and that did really monstrous work on console as well. Yeah.
But it's just, now that it's patched, and as it should have been, right? Like, it shouldn't fire over what it's at least saying it's going to fire at. The kill time's still there. It's still like the 0.91 second kill time. Actually, even lower than that, I'm pretty sure. If you hit the triple burst with like 1 headshot on each one. But it's just requiring that precision while then also being rushed down. Because it's usually like the counterplay that I think, like, okay, if this is, close range hand cannon versus my sidearm's probably going to win. But once you start involving one hit weapons like a shotgun or a fusion rifle, it's obviously a different story. And I'm not trying to say that like these primary ammo types should necessarily like always win, because then you have the reverse issue where, well, if the shotgun's the best reason to rush in, but the sidearm beats it, why would I not just rush in with the sidearm or with my SMG? And kind of to bounce around, like, I think we're all expecting Last Word to come out on the 29th with the exotic draw quest. One thing that kind of concerns me with that is that if it is Last Word and it ends up being like the perfect shotgun counter, A, is that meta warping, and I kind of expect it to be. And then B, if it is meta warping to the point where everyone's rocking it to counter shotguns, like, and it's that effective at shutting down a shotgun who's rushing in, why wouldn't you be the person rushing in with your Last Word? This is why I'm thankful I don't work at Bungie, because this is a difficult question. I have no idea what the answer to it is.
Thank you. Here at Crucible Radio, we can fix all the problems of the game. It's easy. Yeah. Just flip the switch.
Yeah, just type in 0101.
Yeah, that's the coding numbers. That's how you code. I know this.
The coding numbers. I mean, it is just like quite literally an arms race. I have to say, I do appreciate, and when you realize it's happening, like that they've just realized, despite what we ask for, that they know better than to introduce a new thing that is too good, except maybe in the exotic armor category. There's a couple that burst onto the scene with a real great intro. But yeah, kind of giving things time to warm up because one, you sort of prevent the risk of having something just show up and completely dominate the meta because it's too hot and then you have to nerf it. But also because it does grant a sort of longevity to the game. I mean, you see them doing that across the board now. You see them doing that with drop rates as well, right? Like we're going to starve you for exotics and then we are going to goose it up slightly. And it feels better. You get more exotics, but as soon as you kind of get acclimated to the new drop rate, you got to stay there a while until they do it again. And for the goal of avoiding nerfs, that's great, but everything is just getting a little bit faster. Like, when do you get to reset? If Destiny 3 comes out and it puts us back to like 1.2 second time to kill, there will be non T1Riots happening. I'm so sorry, guys. Wow. I'm so sorry. I saw it, and I tried to avoid it. I tried to dance around it.
Wow.
Yeah, I
hope it was
don't get a choice in these.
Not holding it against you.
I really wish we had a better joke to end this interview on.
Well, okay. I have a legit question to end this interview on. So you have cranked out a lot of triumphs, and I dig it. I currently have some more higher priority goals to track down. But when you're kind of at that spot where it's like, okay, I'm going to log in, like you say, having a goal for each play session. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Tell me, are there any that stood out in memory as being particularly fun, particularly rewarding, particularly educational in a play style or weapon type or something?
So Iron Banner, for those who don't know, they added in technically 39 triumphs this season, 37 of them being metal, then 2 of them were seasonal for, what are we in, season 5 of The Forge? Something like that. And the seasonal ones were pretty easy. It was like obtain 15 packages and play 5 games, 50 defeats, wearing a full set of gear. Yeah, that's like a day's work kind of thing. But the metal triumphs, oh my goodness. Those ranged from get a double kill to get a 7th column or a 50 kill streak or the annihilation medal, which is wipe out every person on the opposing team. You getting the final blows before any of them spawn in again. And also, if there's only 3 people, it doesn't count in the game. So it had to be 4.
So how did it go?
I got 35 of the 37 medals. I didn't get the 7th column. Did not get the annihilation. The annihilation got stolen 2 times specifically, but that's okay. I know it's possible. That's a good mark. But the 7th column was the one that maybe got a little frustrating. Because the spawn timer in Iron Banner is at 7 seconds rather than strictly being at 5 like it is in Quick Play. So you have more time before each person spawns in.
You really got to stretch the time between kills.
You really do. And that's the other thing too, right? You got to stretch it out because there's only 6 people there. You only have 2 seconds to combo a multi-kill going together. And I want to say it's at least a second. I want to say it's pretty much 2 seconds of spawn immunity when somebody spawns in an Iron Banner. In the playlist, I'm not saying it's strictly skill-based matchmaking because it's certainly not, but there's definitely something happening there. Like when I go into Quick Play, it's, you'll see the occasional not for gun. You go into Iron Banner, it's like, oh, half the lobby has not for guns.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, there's no question that getting these medals is more of a challenge in Iron Banner than it is anywhere else. And even matchmaking and add in the power level just in the off chance that power levels are off, then yeah, it really, the difficulty is there.
Right. And so just to round about back to your question, the 50 streak, which I think in regular Crucible is like, hold on, I'll make this for you or something. Actually, I haven't gotten that one yet. But in Iron Banner, it's 5th Horseman. 50 kills, 0 deaths, or 50 defeats, because you don't have to be the final blow, thankfully. Jeez, you have to be.
Damn.
But
well, that's good.
right, yeah, that's easy.
Only 50, right?
Oh, I can do it
50
then.
kills in assists, that's all. No, I mean, that was easily like 20 hours dedicated towards trying to specifically get that one medal done, that one triumph.
Wow.
So what's your loadout for hunting 50 kills in one match?
I ended up getting it on Code of the Commander Sentinel. So that's the middle tree, has the giant shield with a one-eyed mask for my exotic, because it's just getting my health back right. You have to stay alive. And it definitely saved me a couple of times. But I want to say I did like a chaperone for my exotic, because I was like, my shotgun counter was just a longer range shotgun. And then right side of wrong for my energy, which is essentially the energy version of Go Figure Blast Furnace.
I actually really like the right side of wrong.
Right?
I actually really like
It's
the
a hidden
right
gem.
side of wrong.
Yeah.
I picked it up the other day. I found it on my vault. I was like, give this a shot. It's a tasty little number.
Mm-hmm.
And mine is pink.
All
That's a
right.
good reason to like it, Birds.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
Yeah, it's got a good
You
roll on it.
didn't sell
but
me until you talked about the shader.
color
We know the
shiny
shader.
AF.
Yeah.
So you're going for crazy survivability. You're going for precision kills.
Exactly.
with-
I'm keeping my range. I know when to back down. And that's the thing too, is like while playing for it, I started kind of like learning the pattern of, okay, well, if my team popped our supers, then how close is the enemy team going to go? It's just like learning those patterns and who is going to have a super on their team. What's their super going to be? How do I counter it? And being a sentinel, having a suppression in my back pocket was nice. Shutting down a couple of spectral blades every now and then to keep me in the game, kind of thing.
I imagine you've got to get fairly cagey when you know, you check and see 5 supers are up. Just
Yep.
maybe sit this one out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I'm going to stay back here. Team, you go do your thing. Just for a little bit. Yeah.
Luckily, in those 6v6 games, everyone just pops them all at once, right around the 3.5 minute mark or whatever
Exactly.
it is. It's just
No,
chaos
without
for
fail,
like
though.
30 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, it turned yellow. This is fun.
Yeah, that was the whole thing there, was just learning how to play my life and how to stay alive longer, and when is a good time to use my super aggressively versus holding it because I see that they have Nova Warps, but Code of the Commander Sentinel Shield, when I'm blocking, actually can't be damaged by it. Same with Spectral Blades, I can just permanently bounce them off of me, run them out of super.
Interesting.
Wow.
Interesting. That's cool. Well, no, I love that. And I like that it's, you know, you're going for this specific goal. You're playing in a very specialized play style to try and get that goal. But there's a lesson that you're taking away from it, which is learning how to play your life, like you said, right? Like, and that's the kind of thing where even once you get that triumph, you're going to carry sort of the thought process. Exactly. Right. Yep. So what others, I guess, along those lines, what skills or just being reminded of certain skills or play styles do you feel like you really picked up from this triumph on?
Well, so because it took me so long to get the 50 streak, and Titan was actually the last class I played on. I first tried Dawnblade. It was good for multi-kills just because of how fast I was zooming around the map. But I didn't really have any good defensive plays with it. And so I tried, I can't remember it, Nova Warp. I don't remember the subclass name. But, you know, Nova Warp, Nova Bomb. And having the handheld Supernova was good in a pinch, for sure. Shut down a couple of shotgun rushes just because it kills out to like 9 meters or something around there. So just outside the one-hit shotty range. But the super just, while it's tanky, there were a lot of full auto shotguns. And just the way that people were playing in Iron Banner, I swore, like every time I would blink near somebody, like 3 shotties were pulled out. Just boom, 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 over and over. It's like, well, all right, I got chunked out. GG me. So I wanted a super that could like play the range game kind of thing that didn't have to get up close and personal. And so, of course, with that logic, like, let's not play the up close game. I swapped over to Spectral Blades because that makes sense. Oh my goodness, that's super. And I got Gwizinvest like halfway through the grind on that. So I wanted to play with the new toy as well. That's a pretty good exotic, by the way, if you haven't gotten to play with that one yet.
That's decent.
Super lasts a little bit longer. So. And that was surprisingly good. It was a neutral game that really shocked me. Getting to use like the old wombo combo to slow people down or get multi-kills or like flood out a zone as people are trying to cap it.
Yeah, very underrated perk. I think it gets overshadowed by the invisibility and now the crazy super. But
and then on top of
just
that,
having that smoke.
Yep. Yeah, smoke is strong on that subclass. It really is. Just burn damage for ticking on them, messes with their movement speed, messes with their vision a little bit.
It gives me the confidence to just throw both again, which was always the kind of the fun part, even if you were burning abilities in D1, the wombo combo, just, both arms, just throw it. It was always interesting to get a one, do all of the damage without firing a weapon.
Exactly. Yep. Then you can couple it with the gambler's dodge, like the bottom tree dodge skill tree, where if you're relatively close to an enemy, it refills your melee ability. Boom, another smoke grenade right there. And you have I don't have distribution on my boots, but gain super energy. I want to say it gives you super energy on distribution.
Yep.
I think
that's the one.
Okay, yeah.
Birds, you could maybe refer someone to your spreadsheet if they wanted to know exactly what all the armor perks did.
I'm actually going to refer people to my spreadsheet because it turns out it's called Way of Fission. We've just been calling it Nova Warp. Who's calling it Way of Fission? I had to look that one up.
It's not attunement?
Twitter.com/famousbirds pinned to the top of my pinned tweet. Got a nice spreadsheet link in there. Tell you
Are you sure it's not attunement?
Attunement of fission?
Oh, yeah, it's that, but it's the word fission. Okay. I don't write the first part.
Okay, so fission, like attunement or whatever. Yeah.
Total crotch, garbage. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely OP.
All right. Well, there's still a few more triumphs to go. What are you working on next?
So I need to finish up the weekly Crucible that's currently out with Lockdown. That's just, I have a couple more wins to go on the playlist, a couple more zones to cap. I have to get the gold medal, which is, I think, win a game without the opponent ever holding 2 zones against you. Then get a group of 4, a couple games in, hopefully knock that medal out, because it's just a one and done kind of thing. 0 triumph score, but I want the triumph. And then beyond that, there's the Black Armory lore pages that were released with, I want to say, the Izanami Forge. It's the same time slot on that, but they're only available through the Gofanon Forge, and they're fairly rare, surprisingly so. Gone one in like 20 forges so far, and there's, I want to say, 18 pages. So I've got a little bit more to go there.
Wow. If you want to find you doing these triumphs, where can someone do such things?
So I'm on Twitch at T1Riot, twitch.tv/T1Riot. Twitter is twitter.com/T1Riot. And I actually have a new YouTube channel because, fun fact, if you sign up with your school email and they eventually disable it and permanently delete it, you lose your YouTube account. So,
no.
Yeah. And unfortunately, couldn't transfer anything around. So yeah, new YouTube. But it doesn't have the requisite sub count to...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're turning over a new leaf.
Yeah, just search T1Riot on YouTube. Hopefully, eventually I get the T1Riot as the handle, but need to hit the sub count again first. It's working on that. But hey, you got that 55-0 Iron Banner game up with the 5th Horseman, so...
Follow him on Twitter for some cat pics.
Also, yeah, got 2 very pretty kitties. One of them right here.
A good one and a bad one, as I like to refer to them.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
It's always a pleasure.
Jinx.
Wonderful. All right, you owe me a carry.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
You got a new gambit mode. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Make everything the same. Make everything look better.
All right. That was a podcast.
Now let's talk about Enter the Spider-Verse, 2018's best film.
You know what? I'll tell you. I feel like when you have family members who don't truck with superhero movies, you basically get
cut them out of your life. Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, bye, Mom. Nah, just like you basically get one shot to go like, no, okay, I know, but no, this one is different. This one is a complete movie. It is. You don't have to like comic books. You don't have to like superheroes. It's not just the same Marvel action. It's good. It's its own thing. You should go see it. You only get one of those, and I think I used mine too early because I really want to use it on Spider-Verse, but I blew it. I blew it. I used it on Thor Ragnarok is on Netflix.
It's a great movie. It's funny.
It's a great movie. It's funny, but it was just a miss. Yeah, my mom likes boring movies where nothing happens. I forgot.
I want
that.
to watch The Favorite or Vice or
yeah. What was that one about a newspaper?
The Post.
Yeah, great. The Post. A bunch of people standing around talking. No thanks. I'm sure it was fine.
Tom Hanks and what's her name? Best Living Actress, Meryl something. Who cares? Go watch Spider-Man.
Can't wait. When Spider-Verse is on Netflix, buddy, just wait. Just wait.
It's gonna be on the Disney streaming service. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm not ever getting that one for free. Folks, this has been fun. It's crucibleradio.com @Crucible Radio. Go support us on patreon.com/Crucible Radio and enjoy the bonus podcast. We got some new stuff coming there.
Ooh, special stuff too. If we can figure out some travel arrangements.
Let me tell you, in so many words, I've been practicing. I'm ready.
It's going to be real spicy now. So.
I am not ready for that. I guess I should practice.
Well, you should. Well, no, it'll be more fun for people.
Yeah,
if you don't.
I'll go in and die. We'll find out what we're talking about soon.
Till next time.
Later.
Happy 2019.
I'm gonna play Spider-Man.
And he sighs, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
And then he eats them.
Spidey bells, swinging through the town.
Hello everyone, Swain here. You know that Crucible Radio is your source for all things Destiny PvP, and I know you want more than just this video, so make sure to head on over to crucibleradio.com to find all of our past episodes, detailed Crucible maps, t-shirts, and much, much more.